A high-impact landfall from a hurricane could occur on the East Coast in just a matter of a few days, but there's a plot twist. Our European model shows some kinks in this that could be very dangerous. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. Thank you for being here. I'm watching a lot with this system, including the GFS, which shows a progressive, fast-moving system moving inland, which would not be good for the Western Carolinas that are 1 year removed from Helene. Folks, please in the comment section, let me know where you're watching from right now, and let me level with you for a second, folks. If the GFS model or even the European model is correct, we will have significant flooding. It's just a matter of where, the mountains or the coast, both of which bring high impacts to the Carolinas that really honestly concern me. Let me also be real with you on one thing. You know I'm transparent with my forecasting. If the GFS model verifies and we get 9, 10 plus inches of rain across the Western Carolinas, there will be significant issues because of Helene. We're 1 year removed from our entire landscape being different. Those creeks, those streams, those riverbeds have not been tested like this since Helene. And frankly, we don't know the impacts that could have based on the landscape that we have and the fact that we're still healing. Folks, if you're new to this channel, please consider following. Please like this video so more can see it. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications as I provide multiple updates each day. And folks, if you're new to my style of forecasting, I'm very transparent with you. I tell you when it's time to be concerned. And folks, honestly, right now, it is time to start really checking in on what could be headed our way, because if this model I'm showing you right here verifies, there will be significant high impacts across the Western Carolinas with this storm. So let's just start from the beginning and show you what's happening. You see jumping out right now, we've got a rapidly intensifying hurricane. That is Humberto. That is going to play a current role in what happens with this. You see it funneling up right here. Honestly, this thing's off to the races. And that is going to have an impact on the steering currents with this, where it goes, and what it could be doing. Here is our storm in question. This is what will be Imelda, kind of sitting off the northwest tip of Haiti and the southeast tip of Cuba, and it's getting better organized. The National Hurricane Center shows that Humberto is going to become a major hurricane, possibly even a Cat 5. It's a Cat 4 on their track, possibly approaching Cat 5 in strength. Now, let me show you the consensus here. You blend together our European, our UK, our GFS, and our Canadian, and you get something like this. There's a big spread here toward the end because some of the models here, like Google's DeepMind, are trying to hint that there's still some room that if Humberto gets stronger faster and Imelda continues to move north, it would slingshot it back out with a phenomenon called the Fujiwara effect. The longer we go out, the less that's likely. I would hope that that would happen. That would be honestly the best case scenario. We're hoping that there's still room that this could lean toward the east. The European's showing that in its AI model. We can't hang our hat on that. We honestly need to prepare for the fact that this the CMC, the Canadian track would send this out. That is a possibility, but we need to know that the European, which is shown here, or the GFS, which is shown here, could end up panning out, and that would equal some very dangerous scenarios for us. So let's go through some of them here. I'm going to first look at the track of this. Let's look at the pressure. So sea level pressure, anomalies, here we go. So let's look at the European model run from last night. It would not be great for the east coast of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. It would create significant stalling and significant flooding, where we're talking double-digit rain, 10, 15 inches of rain, which would cause terrible, life-threatening flooding. Okay, so let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. Here it comes in, intensifying to a hurricane on approach Monday night. But notice it's slowing down. Here we are Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. It is still off the coast, folks. That would not be good news. This would be a hurricane just sitting there, continuing to send in the wind, the waves, the flooding potential, and it would give us significant impacts into the Western Carolinas and the coast. And then eventually it gets kicked into gear, and by Thursday night, Friday, it moves inland, bringing that flood and that wind risk inland toward Augusta, Columbia, Greenville, Spartanburg, Asheville, Atlanta. That would not be a good solution for just about anybody. Let's look at what that would look like for impacts, okay? Let's look at precipitation first. This would cause significant flooding to the tune of almost 15 to 20 inches of rain. The European would be a significant impact to Horry County, the Grand Strand, Ed Piotrowski land. I know you know. Ed's one of a kind, folks. I would encourage you as you're along the coast to watch Ed. Okay, if you're in Charleston, Savannah, this could have impacts on you as well. Look at that, 15 inches of rain in Charleston, folks. If you get 2 inches of rain in Charleston, it can flood. So the European is not a good solution by any stretch of the imagination. Let's look at wind. That oftentimes gets the headlines, but it's the flooding that would be the most deadly threat, folks. The wind is not great either. It's hurricane strength along Charleston to Georgetown, 65 to 70 miles per hour. Inland toward the upstate, it would be 40 to 50 miles per hour. So the European's not great by any stretch of the imagination. Let's look at the European AI. What is AI? Well, AI is basically, like you know, but it's a computer model as well, and the fact that it can correct itself based on what it knows from previous history and can be a useful tool. But just like anything in my toolbox in my garage that oftentimes my kids get a hold of, and I don't know where this is or that is, I need to dig in there and find a tool. That's what they are. Each are useful, but is it a one-size-fit-all tool? No. So I can't just rely on this European AI, but it is a stronger system hanging out off the coast. And here's our escape route, folks. This would be the ideal situation. Umberto's stronger and starts to pull this away, and it doesn't even get to landfall. So it sits here Tuesday into Wednesday and then curves away, and we get better weather for the Western Carolinas, and we don't get touched with flooding threats, with wind threats. It would certainly rain on the west side, and we'd get 4 to 5 inches of rain from the East Coast, from Charleston to Savannah to up through Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, the Outer Banks. But look at inland. 9/10 of an inch for Greenville, 1 inch for Asheville. We can handle that. All right, the core of that would be out to sea, and you see in these purple colors. That would be like staring down a freight train and saying, at the last minute, I'm going to jump off the tracks. Yowza. We can't hang our hats on that. So we need to prepare for the worst case, hope for the best case. And folks, that's my prayer. That's what I hope happens. I hope that this thing kicks on out and we have no issues whatsoever. But as we look at the Euro AI ensembles, they're showing there's the possibility of this getting close and then curving out. Let's look at the European, regular old European. All right. It shows it coming up, up, up. Some of them are inland, some of them are pushing it out. So you got about a 50-50 solution on the European. Let me show you the GFS, folks. This is the one that is the worst case scenario of our models for inland areas like Greenville, Spartanburg, Asheville, Helene areas in the Western Carolinas, even in the East Tennessee. Folks, I know you're watching. Please let me know what city, what town. Know that my prayers are with you. Know that I'm here with you. We were devastated by Helene. My family in Western North Carolina, we couldn't get to the farm. We couldn't get in or out. For weeks, we were stranded because just about any road that had a bridge over a creek was washed away. So you literally were landlocked. And you still see those scars a year later. Folks, so my heart is in the right place. I am praying that this does not happen, but I need to prepare you, just like I did last year with Helene, for the fact that, hey, this could be bad. This very well could be very bad. All right? So let's unpack it with a slow, measured approach. I need you to tune in the fact that this could be 3 days out. All right, this is not 7, 8, 10 days out where you can look now and check back in later. This would arrive on Monday. So here we are with the GFS. Again, this is the most dire model. This is the dangerous one for us. It would show it moving inland, a 987, that's a Cat 1, into Georgetown. It would then press inland very quickly. Monday night, conditions would go downhill into Tuesday morning for the Western Carolinas, and here we are. We've got a slow-moving tropical storm sitting inland. This would be right over Greenville and Spartanburg with the heaviest of the rain, the strongest of the winds, and honestly would not be good at all. It just wouldn't. There's no part of me that wants to see any inkling of this. This would basically, we've got to cast on. We broke our leg. We got to cast, just got it off. Our bones are not healed all the way in the Western Carolinas. You get another blow like this, folks, I don't know what it would do to some of these rivers, okay? It would certainly bring us to a test that we haven't seen. And honestly, if this were to unfold in these type of rainfall totals in the Western Carolinas, it would not be great. So here's a broad look. You can see the path that this would take. And then as we go in, you can see these white colors here, just by the scale down here, would be 10 plus inches of rain. Folks, that's not Helene. Helene was 15 to 20 inches of rain, and Helene had 10 to 15 inches of rain the 3 days before it. So the situation is much different. And let me be very clear on that. The situation would not be exactly like Helene, but boy, would it not be good. All right, 4 to 5 inches of rain from Greenville to Greer to Spartanburg, 6, 7, 8 inches of rain toward the mountains, and that would cause some significant issues. Let's look back one run ago from the GFS. It shows the similar thing. It shows 7 inches for Bostic and Rutherfordton, areas that were so impacted by flooding. This would be upslope, so this would be ringing it out against the mountains. This would be the worst track that we could see out of this. And if you go back 3 runs ago, it blends it out more and shows kind of a more elongated system. So we're going to look out for that, folks. We're going to prepare for this worst case. We're going to hope for the best case. How about wind? Because wind was a big part of Helene. The 6Z run shows wind coming in to the tune of, let me refresh it here, 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts on this latest GFS model. As we go back one run ago, you got some 60s in here toward the mountains. So not Helene type winds by any stretch of the imagination. You remember Helene was a Cat 4 at landfall in the Gulf and then moved up. This would be a Cat 1 at landfall, 70, 80 miles per hour, and then it moves inland. So those winds weaken accordingly. But while this would not be great, that is manageable. Certainly some power outages. All right, so let's look at the escape route that the GFS wants to hint at. It shows a system coming up like this, and it shows it going inland. All right, some of them start to curve it back out. So there is hope on the GFS that this would do a little curve, just like the Canadian is showing. The Canadian, honestly, is just like the European AI and the fact that you see this come up and then go away. We likely would not know that until we get into Sunday. Sunday is when we can say, "Whew, we dodged a bullet here, folks." Probably not until then. All right. So Saturday, Sunday, the Canadian here is showing it going back out to sea. So what is the European ensemble? Folks, you hear me say the ensembles sometimes. What is that? It's kind of inside baseball, but basically it blends together 51 different varieties of the European model. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. What can it do? What will it do? Well, it shows it coming in, approaching the coast, and then curving out. So there is hope that in this we could have some situations that would be okay. Now, folks, we do have the risk for heavy rainfall, and I want to be careful how I say this, but also want to be cognizant of the fact that this is the same thing that got us in trouble with Helene last year. We've got a front over us, not like Helene last year, but we do have a front. So there is a medium risk for flooding today. And as we move forward, we got to pay attention to the fact that if that front gives us copious amounts of rain today, there is a risk tomorrow toward the coast. You folks watching right now in the Piedmont, North Carolina, over through Raleigh, Durham, the Triad. We need to watch this. Medium risk of flooding tomorrow. And then comes impacts Monday from this system. You see where they're drawn here in Myrtle Beach, and then they stretch inland for all the Carolinas on Tuesday. This would be Monday night into Tuesday. Okay, and then by Wednesday, it's moving toward the north and shifting toward Norfolk and Virginia. So, folks, where are you watching from right now? Let's get that out of the way. Let me know where you're watching from right now, and know that my commitment to you is to keep you posted. Whether you're watching from Jersey, New York City to Florida, I know so many of you are tuning in right now from all over, and that makes my heart happy that we have this community and we have this technology, frankly, that can help us stay informed and to help us update people along the way as conditions come to us. Okay, so as we look at these conditions and as we analyze them, my job is to keep you posted. Your job is to keep checking back in. Does that make sense? So let's get to some of your questions that you posed last time. Folks, part of what I do here is I don't just talk to you, you talk to me. You ask me questions, and I have up your comments from my last video here. So many of you are watching from all over, so if you will, right now while you're watching, let me know where you're watching from so that in my next video I can help answer some of your questions and we can just keep this dialogue going. So if you have just a burning question or you just want to say hello or represent your town, maybe it's a prayer request. Folks, I take prayer requests. Folks, if I didn't have my faith, I would not be able to do what I do for a job and be able to do it to the extent that I do, because I have family here at home that I'm trying to help protect as well, preparing my home. I was picking up stuff today because I'm thinking, hey, things may get a little bit busy for me in the next couple of days. What can I do right now? So, folks, what can I help answer for you here? What kind of prayer requests do you have? What cities are you watching from? Let me know. Please follow this page, subscribe if you don't already, and let's get to talking. All right, Corbin says, watching from Myrtle Beach. I'm getting ready to leave if necessary. Thank you for keeping us updated. Hey, Corbin, thank you for that. Certainly pay attention to that. You know, they don't take evacuations of the coast lightly. I don't think this is a rapidly intensifying hurricane. Is there room for that? Folks, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that this storm system's over very warm waters, over the Gulf Stream, very deep waters. You got very deep waters that are very warm, and there is the potential that if this thing did intensify, that we could have some serious issues here. I don't want that to happen. Do I think that will happen? I don't see it in the models, but is it possible? It is. It is. All right. Hi, Chris. Praying for the Carolinas. Thanks for keeping an eye on us. Ever since Katrina, my heart has been in this. Well, thank you. We'll keep you posted, Don. Watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. Keep up the great work on these weather videos. Thank you, Jalen. Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Thanks for the updates. Prayers to all cities. Thank you, Chris, from Greenwood. I'm still quite shell-shocked from Helene, so this definitely has my anxiety on edge. I get it. Hope to only get 30-mile-per-hour winds at most. Your updates are highly valued and appreciated. Thank you. You keep up the great extensive work of keeping us informed on all the possibilities. Much love, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for that. Hey, good morning. Watching from Hinesville, Georgia. Thank you for the updates. You're the best. Thank you, Leslie. Michael, watching from Union, South Carolina. Hi, Chris. I hope and pray this hurricane will not affect us. The storms look really bad. Thank you so much for sharing this video, and God bless. Garcia, watching from Bimini, Bahamas. Yeah, watching the Bahamas very closely. Where are you watching in the islands right now? We got Jamaica in the house. Hi, Allie. Appreciate you, my homie. Thank you, Garcia. We are homies, right? Hey, bless up and prayers for everyone's safety through this hurricane season. Hey, thank you for that. Great word of encouragement there. Calabash, North Carolina. Oh my goodness, give me some seafood. Thank you for that. Thank you for your continuous coverage and updates as changes can happen. Thank you very much. Hey, Cindy, thank you. I have subscribed to your channel. Thank you for looking out for us in south of Tampa. It means a lot to have someone like you to keep us updated on all things weather. God bless. Hey, thank you. Brittany's watching from the upstate of South Carolina. Thank you for the updates. You bet. We got Columbia, South Carolina saying it's praying for Charleston, all coastal cities. Watching it closely. Yep. We got Cary, North Carolina. Thanks for the heads up. You bet. Watching in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Thank you for keeping the viewers updated. I think a lot of us are on edge after Helene last year. 100%. I know a lot of us definitely need rainfall, so fingers crossed we get just what we need. Thank you for all the updates. Yeah, we could use a little bit of rain, just not a lot. And I think the consequences are too high here, unfortunately. Don watching from Brunswick County, North Carolina. Thank you. St. Augustine, Florida in the house. We got Camden, South Carolina house. Watching from Edisto while camping. Watching carefully, deciding when to leave. Possibly this afternoon based on the latest information. Thank you so much for being transparent. It gives me confidence to make better decisions sooner. Gene says, hi, Chris. Hope all is well. Watching from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Thank you for being so honest. Have a great weekend. Hey, thank you, Gene. North Carolina in the house. Listening from Greer. Thank you very much for keeping us up to date. Joy says, thank you for explaining all the different commuter model projections based on real evidence and logic. I live less than a mile from the ocean in Sunset Beach, North Carolina, between Myrtle Beach and Wilmington. So naturally, I'm keeping up with the projections of this storm's path and wind speed. I was impressed just now hearing the important facts that I needed, so I am subscribing. Thanks again. Hey, Joyce, I don't take that lightly. Thank you for that. I know that you could subscribe to a lot of different channels and you get bombarded with them. So that means a lot when you guys do that. So thank you for pointing that out. Good evening, Chris. Mark from Pensacola again. The rain you predicted did cool things down a bit, but the humidity makes it feel hot still. Yeah, no doubt. We're getting there. Progress, right? Oh, well, we needed the rain for sure. Glad you're with us and your excellent weather forecast. The thunder and lightning shut down the internet for a bit today. Yikes. Hope you're back up and running there. Every time that happens, the internet goes down. Needs to reset. Yeah, I don't like it when that happens. All right, Rena watching right now from Franklin, North Carolina. Thank you. Hi, blessings for your content. Watching from Bradford, Connecticut. Cape Lookout, North Carolina. Western North Carolina in the house. I get it. Anxiety's high with this one. Watching from Kissimmee, Florida. Appreciate your style and presentation of the content, making weather forecasting interesting for me. Hey, thank you for saying that. Paige watching from Blythewood, South Carolina. Heading to Virginia overnight. Mother-daughter retreat. Back Saturday at supper time. Okay, you'll be back just in time. Safe travels to you. Hope it's a safe trip, and we'll keep you posted. Linda watching from South Florida. Murrells Inlet, been here since 1986. Oh boy, you've been there, done that, seen that. Bought that t-shirt, right? Hi, Chris. Still watching from Virginia on a 25-foot sailboat headed to Annapolis Sailboat Show. All right. We got to stay dialed in on that. At the very least, you could get some waves from this. We'll watch it for you. Some of the models earlier in this showed it riding up through the Mid-Atlantic. Less likely on that now, but we're watching it. Baytown, Texas. Thanks for the updates. All right. Keep you posted. Myrtle Beach in the house. Lynchburg, Virginia. Union, South Carolina. North Myrtle. Fountain Inn. The Bahamas. Hi, Rudia. Let's see what else we got here. Rockingham, North Carolina. Live Oak, Lake City, Florida area. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Southwest Georgia. San Diego's in the house. Hi, Andy. Thank you for watching. South Georgia coast. Ontario, Canada. All right. Hey, thank you for watching. Thanks, Chris, watching from Murrells Inlet. Jeff and Erica. Hi to Jeff and Erica and Murrells Inlet. We'll keep you posted. You certainly are kind of in the crosshairs right now on most of the models. We got Turks and Caicos Islands here, Central Pennsylvania, Charleston, South Carolina, Bonita Springs, Florida, Hobe Sound, Florida. South Carolina's on high alert. Yes, we are. Chester, South Carolina. Doug from Fort Bragg area, live in Hoke County, work on Bragg. Hey, thanks, Doug. Be safe. We'll keep you posted. Keeping up with this as I live in Atlanta, Georgia. According to the forecast, it looks like we may get some rain on Monday and heavy rain into Tuesday. Certainly looks possible for you. We'll keep you posted in Atlanta Metro. Please share with your friends. Hey, Chris, coast of North Carolina, highlighting. Yep, we're right there watching it for you, Sharon. Abbeville, South Carolina. We got Nokomis, Florida, watching in eastern North Carolina. Asheville, Nakena, North Carolina, close to the North Carolina Myrtle Beach line. Greenville, South Carolina. Lexington, South Carolina. Long Island, the Bahamas. Thank you. Pickens, South Carolina. More from the Bahamas. Got Endyville, North Carolina in the house. My hometown folks there. Hey, Hope. Thank you for watching. Watching for the Bahamas. A bit nervous on this one. Yeah, what we do not want to see is rapid intensification, folks. This is over warm waters. Is that possible? It is. The models are not showing it, though. Ferguson in Charleston. Hi, Chris, watching from the South Virginia line here. Could you please move the map a little more inclusions just a tad bit? I'm literally minutes away from North Carolina. Yeah, I'll do that next time. I see what you're watching there. As I'm trying to show the impacts North Carolina is coming in, but I'll zoom out just a bit. Fortunately, that map zooms into North Carolina. The next available map cuts off Florida and South Carolina, so I got to maybe show two angles there, which I'll do. Thank you for that. Ocala, Hendersonville, New Jersey, Dillon, South Carolina, and Myrtle Beach rocking right now. Folks, again, thank you for being here. If you're new to this channel, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. It's the best way to stay informed, folks. There's going to be a lot to unpack here in the coming days, including new tracks, new timing. Folks, my commitment to you is to be transparent with you, to be honest with you, and to not hype anything. I'm here to prepare you, not to scare you, and I hope that you find that refreshing. I do, however, cover a lot of ground here, so there's a lot that we'll uncover in the coming days, and my commitment is to keep you posted along the way. Stay safe, and prayers up for everyone here. Let me know what you got in the comments section, prayer requests, cities. I'd love to hear them.